In late September, Bill Mullen, Director of Agronomic Services with Seed Consultants Incorporated, headed to a field in Seneca County, that's north central Ohio, to take a look at what issues may have robbed corn yield right before the 2015 harvest.
We're standing in the field of 1085, which is a very good 108-day hybrid for us in that. We're out here trying to see on issues there that have been here all season long and what can we expect. Plus, at the same time, it's time to get this crop harvested. And that, as you can see here, we're seeing some disease. We have some gray leaf spot that's in the field, a little bit of northern corn leaf blight, some of these larger lesions. The other thing too, what we're seeing here is anthracnose. Anthracnose leaf blight has come in here in the last 3 weeks and literally just zapped everything out of these corn leaves, matured a lot quicker. At the same time, we've been really dry, so we've seen some of these stalks have basically been cannibalized just to go ahead and fill the ear out and that. The other thing is that just want to bring to people's attention, especially putting a plan together for this fall or going to the next spring, and that is when we're starting to look at giant ragweed. Has nothing really to do, there's just spots in the field where we've had good control, and there's some areas in the field like this where we're seeing this giant ragweed. Did the giant ragweed really have a toll on the ear? Well, as you can see, for this ear here, we filled out all the way around. Pollination was decent, but it's a smaller ear. What I'm trying to show is the value of good weed control does have some bearing on for the yields at harvest time in that. Dry as it was, I feel that these giant ragweed did take away some of this yield potential of this hybrid. Now we walked farther down the same row of 1085, a little farther downwards. You can see there really isn't any giant ragweed in this area here. I went ahead and I pulled this ear off this plant. As you can see, it's a little bit longer. The rows are completely filled out. It's a nice ear in that, all right? We figure about 18% moisture in that. So when there no giant ragweed are out here, there was no competition. The plant was able to go ahead and do what it was supposed to, feed the ear. The ear developed normally. We have a lot better yield. So when we go ahead and have ears that are like this, and compared to ears of this, same hybrid, the 1085, it's when we look at a lot smaller ear, pollination's fine, but the nutrients and the moisture was zapped by the giant ragweed, where in this row with this ear, there's no giant ragweed. We're going to have a lot better yield, probably a lot better grain quality too, for that matter. So, one thing is that right now, harvest time is going to be getting over. Yeah, no, we're going to have some good yields. There's going to be some poor yields in that. But our weed control needs to be addressed starting this fall and next spring. We've got a good plan together. We've got great hybrids out there. We just don't want to put any more stress on that hybrid, be it lack of water, the nutrients, nitrogen deficiency. We don't need to have additional stress by issues with giant ragweed in our cornfield. So, really when we're looking at this, try to have a good plan of attack put together this fall. You still have some money left over, where you can justify, some 2,4-D or Banville to come in and do some fall spraying. It really helped to try to lessen the weed population going to next year's crop. Out here, as in the same field, I started looking at the bottom of these plants and seeing how good the stalk quality is. And as you can see, there's anthracnose, stalk rot starting to form on the edges. We're seeing the black lesion, black spores on here. Doing the pinch test, there isn't much left right there. I can be able to press my thumb and forefinger in there. And basically, with the other stresses from the leaf diseases, the stalk rots occurring, we need to be out here in our fields taking this corn off as soon as we can, because it's not going to stand till November and that. We just briefly came over from the field of corn to the field of soybeans. This field here is 92, 95s. It's a real nice 2.9 variety, has some height to it. It's basically going to be able to take some stresses throughout the growing season. One stress really we had some issue with is a lot of corn and soybean fields up here was all that water early in that. The beans, we could tell or so that they're on the tile lines, They're a lot taller, a little bit more pods to the acre. So we're going to have more bushels to the acre now. The other thing I just want to bring up to our attention is green stems. As we're seeing in this field here, our green stems in some of these varieties, and this variety here is going to be not really much an issue. It's going to be an aggravation. Green stems are basically a result of genetics as well as the environmental growing conditions throughout the summertime and that, all right? We can go ahead and wait probably, you know, with a couple more drying days just to go ahead and have these stems green up or dry down, so it'd be a lot easier to harvest. But my big concern is the moisture on beans right now is running somewhere between 9 to 11%. They're really dry. And if we go ahead and we wait for these stems to dry up, we're probably going to have a lot drier beans. Chances are going to be more shattering. We're going to lose more yield. So the big thing right now is try to get these beans harvested. Yes, it can be an aggravation to cutting these green stems, but at least the beans will be in the bin and we'll be able to sell a lot more had we not gone ahead and wait, just for the ease of a little bit more of a combining, you know, drier plants come this fall. So right now, basically, it's just like corn. We need to come in here, cut these beans, get them harvested, so we have beans to sell and not have any loss from any shattering. Okay, just going to say one last thing here is looking at the beans. How the rainfalls we know affected our bean yields come harvest time. As you can see right now where these beans are at, a little bit more of a water issue here. And then we're going to walk up farther and show you where there's no water. Is there a difference on the bean plants themselves? As you can see, I walk farther up the same row, about 50 feet, to a spot here in the field, a little bit higher, okay? You can see the beans are taller than that. The nodes are closer together. Got a lot more pods up here. Started to try to form the cluster or so, but that really hasn't materialized. But the bottom line is that we got a little better yield here where the water really didn't affect them compared to what we're at behind me in the area where water was.